Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Q&A video. This has been requested a few times to me, and I thought now that I have 15,000 subscribers it's a good chance to do one of these videos. Now obviously this isn't sort of a usual video for me to be doing. I'm usually not showing my face, I'm just sort of doing a review or a repair or a restoration or something like that. But I thought in this week we should take a step back and just do a bit of a Q&A so you guys can get to know me a little bit better, because you don't really see me. I'm behind the camera making these videos, and this is me, this is what I look like, and I'm going to be answering some of you guys' questions in today's video. Now I'm going to be reading these off of the YouTube page, so I've got my 6 Plus here on iOS 8.4.1, and I'm going to be reading these out. Now what I did was I posted to the community page tab in YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out. I'm pretty sure it notifies anyone who has the notifications turned on. So if you are subscribed or not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and then go ahead and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when I post and upload and things like that. Now next week I'm going to be doing a collaboration video with another YouTuber to find out who that YouTuber is. He's another big tech YouTuber, and it's going to be really, very fun, and it should come out next Sunday. So stick around for that. Make sure you have post notifications on if you do want to catch that video. Okay, so starting off the Q&A video, I'm just going to be reading through some of these and answering them as I go. The first question here says, will you open a PO box for people to send you stuff? Yes, I actually have a PO box, so if you are wanting to send things to me, you can just go ahead and shoot me a direct message on Twitter, or tweet out to me on Twitter, or shoot me a DM request on Instagram. Now, I don't do repairs as in, I don't do send in repairs, so don't send me a phone that you want fixed to send back to you. I only do, if you just want to donate something into the channel, maybe it doesn't work, or maybe it's war damage or iCloud locked or whatever, you can send me stuff if you so wish. Just shoot me a DM or tweet out to me on Twitter. When did you learn to fix iPhones, and what was your first iPhone you ever fixed? Now, the first iPhone I ever opened, or fixed, was an iPhone 4 running iOS 7.1.2. That was my first ever iPhone, and I went ahead and changed the back glass on that and put a transparent one on there. They used to be so easy to find on eBay, but I've been looking for them ever since and haven't been able to find one. So if you do know where to find one of those, link them down below, please. But that was the first phone I really opened and actually saw inside and did a mini repair on. The first phone I actually did a full-on repair was an iPhone 5 16 gig. I did a housing replacement because the housing on it was severely scratched and damaged. So I went ahead and repaired that into mint condition by purchasing a pretty much perfect used housing with some of the parts in it. I just swapped the logic boards and screens and things like that, and I had a really nice looking iPhone 5. How old are you? I am 16, year 11, and yeah. Here's another question from Carl. Will you keep using your iPhone 7 product red on iOS 10.3.3, or will you use another iPhone in your collection as a daily driver, or buy the iPhone 8 in product red? I do love the product red iPhone 7, and it's definitely why I haven't upgraded to the iPhone 10. Now I do want an iPhone 10, but the reason I haven't upgraded is because I don't, they don't come in red, and I really like the red iPhones, and I'm not going to upgrade to an 8 because it pretty much is identical to the 7 in looks, and I just want that bezel-less iPhone. And now I've waited 6 months and they didn't release a red one. There's no point sort of purchasing one this late into its life cycle. I might as well just wait around for the next generation of iPhone to roll out and then just upgrade then. Now, I wouldn't use any other iPhone in my collection as a daily driver because I use an Apple Watch, and to use that Apple Watch I need at least iOS 10 or later, and the newest phone that can run iOS 10 is obviously the iPhone 7. I wouldn't use an iPhone 5 on iOS 10 because that just defeats the purpose of why I have my iPhone 7. So really, the iPhone 7 is my daily driver until I upgrade to a newer iPhone such as the iPhone 10 or whatever comes after the iPhone 10 in the bezel-less models of iPhone. Where is the best place to buy iPhone screens from that are OEM quality and aren't too expensive? Honestly, I don't know. I just purchased my iPhone screen through eBay, and just kind of hope for the best. And if they are bad or faulty, I just send them back and get another one. I've had multiple issues with phones and different sellers and repairers selling screens and things like that. Even the SE screen, I bought so many screens off that supplier, and usually they're pretty good, but this one has a very blue bezel to it. But you know, you sort of win and you lose. I don't actually have a supplier that can say, yep, these people make absolutely stunning displays and you should pick one up. What inspired you to fix up these iPhones and other devices? Personally, I find that we live in such a throwaway society. People buy a phone and in a couple of years they go, you know what, this is worthless, and they throw it out. That really annoys me, and my goal really is to just get phones that people don't want anymore and fix them up and just sort of collect them and, you know, mess around with them. It just keeps me entertained, and I really enjoy fixing up phones, and I'm not sure exactly why. I've always had a passion for repairing and pulling things apart. Ever since I was little, probably about 6 or 7, I got this PC and all I did was pull it apart and put it back together. Now, it didn't work, but I just kept pulling it apart and putting it back together because I was fascinated in how things worked. And really, that's what got me into starting fixing iPhones in the first place, because I got some old phones and decided to try and fix them up, put a new housing on it, or try and change the screen on it, and they went successfully, and you know, I thought that, you know, why not keep doing it and make videos on it. So that's really where it all started. But yeah. Do you have any Android phones? No, I don't have a single Android phone. I've never actually owned an Android phone or worked on an Android phone. Now, I know people who work on Samsungs, they seem to be a lot more difficult to repair. I've just stuck with iPhones because iPhones are what my family uses, so usually when they upgrade, they give me their old ones. All my friends, family, and stuff all use iPhones. There's probably 1 or 2 of them that don't use iPhones. So when it comes to getting phones that are broken, they always tend to be iPhones, and I've just been working on iPhones that long that, you know, it just seems really easy to do. Will I work on them in the future? I'm not too sure, as I am pretty much just an iPhone guy, but maybe down the track one day I might take a look at one. But you know, I'm not really interested in the Android community. I'm not saying Android phones are bad. I mean, some people love them a lot more than, say, an iPhone, but in my personal view, iPhones are what I use and what I like to use, and that's just really my personal opinion. What is your favorite iPhone? My favorite iPhone would have to be either the iPhone 5 on iOS 6, because it was the last phone to ship with that version of iOS that didn't look flat and, you know, redesigned. It was a great OS, and it ran on the iPhone 5 beautifully, and the iPhone 5 is just a stunning looking phone with its metal and glass design. It's even still used on the SE today, which really goes to show how good of a phone this really was. How did you get an idea of starting to collect iPhones? Well, I really just started collecting iPhones because I had a lot of them, and I just like to see how they evolved over the years, starting with obviously the first generation iPhone in 2007, all the way up to the 7, which is what I've got. Missing a couple of phones such as the 3G and the 5S and a 6S, but you know, I've got most of them, and I've got lots of every single version out there. But you know, I really like to collect them and have them on different versions of iOS so I can compare them, look at them, and you know, work on them and do whatever, like stuff like that. What is your favorite iOS version? Well, that was kind of covered with the iPhone 5 and iOS 6. iOS 6 is definitely my favorite version of iOS because it just has that unique design. Well, it's not really unique because the previous versions all look like it too, but it was just really refined and worked really well when it was released. I only used it on an iPad 3, but other than that, I never had any issues with it, and I just think it's one of a kind now because it's what people look back to when they look at old Apple and you know, before iOS 7. Do you have a 2011 MacBook Pro? No, I have a 2012 MacBook Pro 13-inch. It's got an i7 2.9 gigahertz. It's got 12 gigs of RAM and two 250 gig SSDs in it. I also have a 2013 Retina MacBook Pro, which is behind me in the video. That's what I edit my videos on and do all of my daily tasks on. The other MacBook Pro I have from 2012, I just use that for school because that MacBook Pro behind me is a little bit good for school use. What is the most complicated iPhone restoration you've done? Honestly, I haven't really run into troubles with any of my iPhone restorations, but I've had to go sort of all devices. The PowerBook G4 definitely was the hardest thing I've ever had to try and put back together. It just didn't seem to want to go back how it should. I did eventually get it back together, but just trying to get it where the DVD drive went, I couldn't get it back together, and it took a really long time to get working again. But as in iPhone restorations, I've never actually had any problems or actually broken an iPhone. That's also another question. Have I broken an iPhone trying to fix it? Now, no, I haven't. my repairs have all been successful, except for ones that say were water damaged or already not working when I tried to fix them. Had a 5C, which I posted on Twitter about. It was in a boot loop, but it turns out it was long screw damage and not a battery issue. I only paid $20 for it anyway, and I had a couple of 4S's that were water damaged. I didn't get those working, but yeah. What phone are you currently using? I'm currently using a product red iPhone 7, 256GB. It's on iOS 10.3.3, all the original box and accessories and everything like that. It's an absolute great phone, and definitely recommend it to anyone who's looking for an iPhone that maybe not the latest version out there, but definitely a good phone, and I'm probably still going to be using it until the next generation of iPhones come out. Then I might consider upgrading to one of those. Was there ever a channel before you created this one? Well, I started YouTube as an 8-year-old, if you've read my YouTube bio. I actually did start posting videos on my brother's YouTube account. Now, those videos have either been taken down or put in private. I don't know. I don't have access to that account. My brother probably does, but I know I did make videos before this. They weren't anything tech related. They were just, videos of me like this as an 8-year-old making things like that. But I pretty much created this channel after my brother was like, hey, why don't you just create your own YouTube channel? And really that is where it all started and all began. Now, my first video I've ever posted on this channel is still up, it's still live, and you can go ahead and view it. It's really old and really cringy, but I keep it up just for the fact that it was my first video, and it's really something to look back on and go, hey, this is where I all started. And you start somewhere. I started with 0 subscribers, zero views, and I've built myself up to this in the past almost 7 years now. What was your first iPhone? My first iPhone, or my first phone, was an iPhone 4. Like I said before, I did a back glass replacement on that, as well as eventually I changed the display. It's not a very good quality screen, but that was my first major iPhone repair, my first iPhone, if you were wondering. Where do I get my iPhones? I get my iPhones from eBay mostly. Sometimes I'll get them locally or from a friend or something like that, but most of my iPhones I'll get through eBay, and that's really where my iPhones come from. Josh from 91 Tech asks, if you could have any tech product before the year 2000, what would it be? I would probably go with an early Macintosh, like a 128K, or maybe even an Apple II or an Apple IIc or something like that. I don't really have any really old Apple devices, although I'd love to get one. I do have a Macintosh PowerBook 150, but the screen is completely damaged. I have its original proof of purchase and everything with it. Don't have a box or anything, but the screen is completely destroyed, and I'm not sure if that's from heat or what it is, but I did post about it on my Twitter. Yet again, if you're not following me on Twitter, twitter.com/HughJeffries, it's where I post sort of things that don't always make it to YouTube videos, and polls and exclusive content and things like that. Another common question I get a lot is, will I post more than once a week? Now, while I'd love to post more than once a week, I just can't. I go to school for 5 days a week, I work on Saturdays, and Saturday nights and Sunday mornings is when I make my YouTube videos, and then that little bit of time I have is literally for myself. So I really enjoy making YouTube videos, so I'll never stop doing that, hopefully. Hopefully I'll just keep going making YouTube videos in the upcoming years. But when I look at it, school and work and then YouTube, it's a lot to juggle, and while I'd love to do more than one video a week, I just can't with my week's schedule. Another question I get a lot is, why do I like Ariana Grande so much? Now, you guys know that I'm a fan of hers. I've met her, I went to a concert, I listened to her music and all that kind of stuff. I'm just a fan, and there's a poster off to the corner there, but I just like her, and that's just me. It's what I like. Not everyone likes the same artists and music taste, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And your passions are yours. What you like, if you love technology or you like football or whatever, it's what you like. So just go for whatever you love, and that's be yourself. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A video. Now, I couldn't get through everybody's questions because I literally had tons and tons of questions after I put this up, just over 100, and going through each individual one of those would take a really long time. Some of them also were repeated a couple of times, so if you didn't get your question answered in this video, maybe I'll do a updated Q&A video at 20,000 or 25,000 subscribers. Who knows what the future will hold, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video and a look at more about me than phones in this video, a bit of a Q&A, a bit of get to know me. And if you're not already subscribed, go and hit that that subscribe button, and make sure you go ahead and check out the iPhone playlist if you're interested in iPhone related videos or any kind of videos like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're not already subscribed, go and hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next time, another one of my great videos.